It's the big one. New Zealand versus South Africa in the Rugby Championship. My name is Mark. Let's talk rugby. New Zealand versus South Africa on Saturday the 15th of July. Kickoff is 8:05 BST. The game is at Mount Smart Stadium in Auckland. So let's start with a look at the two teams, starting with the All Blacks. So you got fullback is Barrett, right wing Jordan, centres Ionian and Jordy Barrett. Left wing is Talea. 10 is Moanga. 9 is Smith. Front row is De Groot, Taylor and Lomax. Second row with Talek and Barrett. And then the back row, Brazil, Kane and Salea. The replacements, Takiaho, Williams, Laulala, Bai, Papalihi, Christie, Enor and Clark. And then the Springbok team, so you got fullbacks Leroux, right wing Colby, centres Am and Delande, left wings Mapimpi, halfbacks Willemse and Clark. Front row kicks off Mumba, Mbanambi, Balayerba. Second row Etzbeth and Dieger. Back row Smith, Mozart and Visa. Replacements then Marks, Thomas Dutoy, Koch, Sneyman, Peter Steph Dutoy, Vermeulen, Williams and Lebock. So these two teams last year, both games are played in South Africa. So it was South Africa 26, New Zealand 10 first up. So Arnsa and Willie Leroux scored for South Africa. Shannon Brazil scored the one try for New Zealand, and Arnsa actually got himself a red card in the second half as well in that one. So South Africa kind of, sealing the game towards the end there. And I think it was like their second biggest victory margin over New Zealand or something like that. I think the biggest was like 17-0, before professionalism. I think the second one then was South Africa 23, New Zealand 35. So New Zealand exacting revenge in the next round. So Am and Mapimpi scored for South Africa, but New Zealand got 4 tries for bonus points. You got Habili, Kane, Scott Barrett, and Takiaho scoring for them, and basically 2 late tries sealed the victory for New Zealand. That one very good performance for them. Last time the two teams played in New Zealand was in 2019, and that was a draw. New Zealand 16, South Africa 16. So New Zealand was winning 16-9. Then Janchi's try converted by Pollard tied things up. Okay, so next let's have a look at the talking points for the teams. So New Zealand first up, they made 5 changes from the starting team that beat Argentina last week. So we got Will Jordan coming in on the right wing instead of Amoni Narawa. I thought Narawa had a decent debut. He got himself a try. I'm still a little bit worried about the fact that he keeps carrying the ball in one hand. Then we have Mark Talea has come on to the left wing instead of Cale Clark, who I felt didn't have as much of an impact in the game, but Clark does drop down to the bench for this one as the 23rd man. And we have Richie Moanga coming in at 10. Damien McKenzie drops out of the squad. I felt that Mackenzie's kicking against Argentina, while it didn't matter, it was kind of a sign that if it was a big game that he might struggle a little bit from the tee. So Moanga, his kicking generally is better, but I'm not sure that New Zealand have really kind of completely backed him as their starting 10. I think there's still possibility there for others to actually claim that spot before the Rugby World Cup. Then we got Cody Taylor coming in at hooker with Dane Coles dropping out of the squad, and we have Rodri Retallick coming in at 4, Scott Barrett moving to 5, and Josh Lord dropping out of the squad. So, just bringing in a lot of players from the Super Rugby final there and just kind of increasing the quality in the team. It looks a very tasty 15, I have to say. Back row is completely unchanged with Rosell, Kane and Sevilla there. They all look really good against Argentina. Then on the bench then we have Takiaho has come onto the bench as Cody Taylor moves into the starting lineup. Then Tamati Williams is set for a debut off the bench at hooker. We got Braden Enor has come onto the bench as well, and Caleb Clark, as I said previously, has dropped down from the starting team onto the bench. So then onto the South African team, so we've got Cheslin Colby coming in for Kenan Moody, who I thought did really well against Australia. He looks like he's really beginning to find his feet at test level. Like, he does some great stuff, but I guess defensively he can be still caught out a little bit. We then have Damien Dialende coming into the centres to partner Lekanyo Am. I thought that Esther Hazen was actually the pick of the two centres last week. He had more of an impact than Am, but I think Am just needs to gain time to really get himself up to the level that we know he can play. And we have Mapimpi coming onto the left wing. So Curtly Aronson, who got his hat-trick last week, misses out on this one. Then we have Fat de Klerk coming in Damien Williamson coming in at 10 instead of Manny Lebok, who drops down to the bench. And Fat de Klerk coming in at 9 for Corners Minark. So completely new halfback pairing there, but Faf de Klerk, we know what he can give you at 9. The guy is absolute talent. Willemse, again, I think it's similar with these two teams. Not really guaranteed who's going to be their 10 for the Rugby World Cup just yet. So a lot will kind of come down to how Willemse goes in this game, I feel. Into the pack then, unchanged front row kicks off Benambi and Moherba, but we do have whole new second row in Eben Etzebeth and Lou de Jager. So, John Klein had his debut, should I say, Saturday against Australia, did really well. Thought Marvin Orey was impressive there too, but such is the depth of stocks that South Africa have that either of those even make the 23 for this one. Then the back row is completely new as well. We've got Quagga Smith coming back in at 6, Franco Mostert at 7, and Jasper Visa at 8. So, a great back row there as well. And, I thought that Van Staden was actually the standout for the entire 80 minutes, I think, against Australia, but again, he misses out for this one. On the bench, you have Malcolm Marks coming in instead of Joseph Dweba. I think, it's a good selection there, because Marks, you know what you're going to get from him. Dweba, he can be explosive and have good impact in the game, but he can also have a bad impact due to discipline and just silly mistakes as well. We then have Peter Steptoe and Dwayne Vermeulen, who both started in the back row last week, dropping down to the bench. I thought both of them kind of worked their way into the game very well, and it's going to be interesting to see how they impact from the bench. Grant Williams continues on the bench as well, so maybe he's going to be able to catch New Zealand out with his pace from the bench and his quick thinking as well. And Manny Lebok is on there too, so it's going to have a look out for how many minutes he actually gets from the bench, though, especially if it is a tight game. So beyond that then, in terms of the views from the two camps, so Ricky Aoni has been talking about how mental preparation is very important against South Africa, and also that he's been praising his midfield partner Jordie Barrett. Said Geordie is abrasive and confrontational, and that really helps his game. And the fact that they're both kind of, of bigger stature as well really makes a good midfield combination for two of them. For South Africa, Faf de Klerk said that the box needs to be switched on for the full 80 minutes against the All Blacks. And also said that the guys playing against Australia really set the standard that the players who come into the team for this week have to now try to follow. In terms of my prediction for the game, before the championship kicked off, I was leaning towards South Africa because of how many great performances they had in the URC and being more familiar with their players from covering the URC compared to New Zealand. Like New Zealand, generally I see them in Test Rugby and don't watch that much Super Rugby really. But now, after the first round of games, I think I'm leaning a little bit more towards New Zealand now. I think it's going to be a close one, but I think maybe home advantage is just going to shade it for the All